Shalom. I typically speak to men, but today I felt led to follow my heart and speak to the mothers of sons, not to correct you, but to encourage you and awaken you, because I've seen firsthand what happens when boys grow up without correction, without discipline. And I've also seen what's possible when a mother loves her son enough to correct and discipline him with wisdom instead of parenting him in fear. Today, sadly, our boys rarely get consequences for their actions until they're standing before a judge. But by then, correction isn't a course change, it's a conviction. It's too late by then. They're serving a life sentence instead of experiencing life. Married mothers, single mothers, I say this with compassion. I know you are afraid of breaking your son, afraid your son has already been through too much, afraid that the world will crush your son if you don't cushion him. But fear, my sister, should never govern our parenting. Wisdom should. One of my favorite Proverbs is Proverbs 19:18, which reads, "Discipline your son while there is still hope, and do not desire his death." That means correct him while he's still reachable. Correct him while he's still in your home, while his heart is still moldable. We recently at our cave summer camp had to expel a young man for violating the rules. It wasn't really a hard decision because we must teach our young boys that rules do apply, but it wasn't made without, I guess, a conflict in my heart. I've given my last 22 years of my life to this mission, not just to teach and train boys, but transforming them into comprehensive men of the Most High. But still, we knew as a staff that if we keep preaching standards but didn't enforce them, when they're broken, we would be doing more harm than good to our boys. There's a saying we will always say in training is, love without discipline is not love. And silence in the face of wrongdoing isn't grace, it's neglect with a smile. There's another verse that I myself had to remember with my own son when he was young, and that's Proverbs 23:13, which reads, "Don't fail to discipline your children. The rod of punishment won't kill them." Now, let me be very clear. That verse is not a license for abuse. It's not about beating your child into submission. It's about the power of loving correction, not to hurt, but to heal. Discipline, when rooted in self-control and wisdom, not frustration, is a tool of prevention, not punishment. It teaches a boy that his actions do have consequences before the world teaches him they do. I can't tell you how many times I had to help mothers fight through their emotions when they had to take away their son's video game or any other privilege in order to teach their son that the word can't does exist. I remember one day when my son was about 7 years old and he wanted to go outside to play. But I told him he couldn't go outside without me being there to supervise. I was actually, I believe, in the middle of finishing a home improvement project. My son looked at me and said with major confidence, "Dad, my teacher said there's no such thing as can't." Now, I knew his teacher meant well, trying to encourage my son to dream big or believe in himself. But I also saw a teachable moment. I said, "Oh, really?" and asked him to make a fist. So he makes a fist with his little small hand, and I gently wrapped my hand around his. Then I said, "Now open it, son." He tried, he was struggling. Then he looked up, smiled, and said, "I can't." I smiled back and said, "Exactly." I told him, "Your teacher was trying to help you dream big, and that's beautiful. But as your father, it's my job to help you understand that while your potential is limitless, real limits do exist. And one of those is learning to respect rules. Mothers, trust me. My sisters, trust me. I understand the fear of parenting a boy alone. I watched it my entire childhood with my mother. And what made her fear worse was that she had already lost a son, my brother Larry. So when she saw me showing the signs of heading down the same path, her fear took over. But instead of drawing me closer, that fear pushed me away. I learned how to manipulate her emotions. I knew how to say the right words, how to charm my way out of anything, or again, get anything I desired to have. She thought giving me everything I wanted would keep me from being foolish, but it didn't. It only empowered me with entitlement. So, Mom, start today by making your correction constructive. When your son's behavior is unacceptable or destructive, pause the moment, not just for punishment, but with purpose. Ask him, what were you trying to accomplish with that action, son? What were you feeling and thinking before you acted or reacted? And how could you have responded more advantageously? Then walk him through what the better response could have been or would have looked like, what it sounds like, feels like, and most importantly, what it leads to. Because correction isn't just about what he did wrong. It's about teaching a boy how to become a man who knows how to navigate the pressures of this world without succumbing to his emotions. So here, my mothers, my sisters, here are 3 action steps to help you raise your son into a comprehensive man. Number 1, don't smother your son, mother your son. Coddling him will only make him weak. Avoiding consequences will only make him reckless. And he needs your nurturing, but he also needs your direction and detachment when it's time for him to grow. Action step number 2, let go just like Moses' mother did. When Moses' mother could no longer hide him from Pharaoh's decree to kill Hebrew boys, she put him in a basket and released him into the Nile River. But she stood at a distance to see what would happen. She didn't cover him or walk by him as he floated through the river. She stood at a distance, and that's what the scripture says. And my sisters, mothers, you must do the same. If there's a disciplined, emotionally stable man of the Most High in your son's life, whether it's your husband, a brother, an uncle, or a mentor, don't block him when structure is needed. Let the man be the man your son needs. Number 3, or action step number 3, your son's failure doesn't mean you failed. When he stumbles, which he will, that's just a part of his becoming. What matters most is that you don't confuse your worth with his wounds. Stay consistent, stay prayerful, stay in position. There will be times also when you will say to yourself, I know my son loves me, but I don't know if he likes me. Just pray your way through it. That will help you guard your heart without hoarding it. In closing, mothers and my sisters, your love is truly unmatched, but your love must also be comprehensive. It's written that for the Lord disciplines, or Adonai disciplines, the one he loves, and he chastens every son or disciplines every son he receives. Don't let your son's first taste of consequences be when the judge reads them aloud. Let correction begin in your home while his heart is still open. And always remember, love without discipline is ineffectual, but discipline rooted in love liberates. Mothers, I pray. My sisters, I pray. This video was an encouragement to you. If you would like to be notified when I upload another one, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Until next time, keep growing, keep building, and keep striving to be the mother to your son that he needs you to be, so that your son can be one day the man the moment demands. Shalom.